Hello, everyone. I'm Kerry George with CIBN TV, and today I want to talk about your greatest asset. We're going to talk about personal development, and your best investment is in yourself. So, over the next few minutes, I'm going to be talking about some really awesome ways to invest in yourself. I have 5 awesome ways that you can invest in yourself that will bear great dividends, great return on investment for you, for your life. Whether you have a job and you're trying to get a promotion, whether you have a business, you're trying to get more clients, trying to get more business, whether you are trying to, grow a personal empire, whatever it is you're trying to do, these are 5 things that you can do that will increase your ability to have success in that. So I'm going to tell you a little story. Years ago, I did not have a lot really going on, a lot financially. I know in 2010, I had done my income taxes that year and discovered that I made a mere $16,000 that year. And I was a single mom, and I had 3 kids that were coming into their preteen and teenage years. And there was a lot of need in our family, and I didn't have enough. There was always more month than there was money. So if you know someone in that situation, you might relate a little bit. Anyways, back then I didn't have a lot to invest in things like, for instance, we didn't own our own home. We didn't own a decent vehicle. We didn't own, I didn't have a life insurance investment policy. I didn't have investments. I didn't have, I certainly didn't have any Bitcoin or any of that stuff. Okay, back then. So I knew that I didn't have a lot. So what could I invest in that would actually bear dividends for me, for my life, for my family, for my kids? And I discovered way back then that the one thing that I could control better than I could control anything else was myself. So I could invest in myself. And I realized that that was a great investment because I'm a winning horse. So are you a winning horse? Are you a good horse to bet on? If you're a good horse to bet on, then you should invest in your horse. If you had a horse that was out racing on the racetracks, I mean, what would you do with that horse? You'd give him the best quality hay that is possible, right? And you would actually exercise that horse and look after that horse and do everything that you could to make that horse worth, the most that it could be, because it's going to pay you back when it wins on the track. Well, you are your own horse. So what are you doing to invest in yourself? I'm going to talk about 5 things here that you can do to invest in yourself that'll make a super huge difference. And it's going to vary a little bit according to who you are and what you want to accomplish. But these are 5 really great ways to do it. And I know that I've done it for myself, and it has paid off huge in dividends, huge in investment ROI. Because I mean, even just yesterday, I brought in thousands of dollars for my company. I did. Okay. How did I do that? Because I had invested in myself over the years. And because of that investment, it starts to pay off, right? So I'll talk about the first thing to do. Number 1, when you're investing in yourself, you want to invest in self-care. You want to look after yourself a little bit. Okay. And I know when we're workaholics and entrepreneurs, we're like, that's, I don't want to hear that. I feel like me. I hear people talk about that, and I'm like, oh yeah, here we go again. Got to exercise and drink enough water and go for a walk and all that. Well, yeah, that's true. That's good. I mean, you should do that. But I think we have to listen to our own body, and I think that's really important when we're talking about self-care. I mean, there are times when you are really going hard and you have a big push on to get something done in your life, in your business or something like that. And the balance is a bit off right then because you're pushing, you're getting momentum going, you're working really, really hard, but you got to listen to your body. Okay. When you are going so hard that you're not getting enough sleep, that's not cool. Okay. If you are going so hard that you're feeling like stress and you got a knot in the pit of your stomach, okay, not cool. So what do you do about that? Well, here's some things that I do. I do like to go for a long walk. I used to go for a long bath. That's a great way of self-care. Okay. And I also, I really take excellent quality vitamins when this whole thing happened in COVID and all that kind of stuff. I right away went out and got some excellent quality vitamins. And by the way, you can't buy those in a drugstore. If you're buying your vitamins in a drugstore, they're not excellent quality. Okay. I can do a whole other video on that. But rule number one, if you're actually trying to increase the quality of your vitamins, is don't get them in a store. Don't get them in Costco. Get them from somebody like a provider of that. There's lots of great companies, and network marketing companies actually have some of the best vitamins, and they cost more, yes, but they actually work. See, when you take them, you should notice things like your hair growing faster, your nails getting stronger. So that's something that I've done for self-care. Is I really like to do that kind of stuff. And I'm a pretty huge workaholic. I like to work hard. Work makes me feel good. I enjoy doing what I'm doing. I like what I do so much that it doesn't seem like work. So part of my self-care is making sure too that I don't take on projects or take on work things that don't make me feel good. When I start actually taking on stuff that I don't enjoy, it just sucks the life right out of me, and the next thing I know, I am overtired and I am feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm dragging one leg behind me. And when people ask me how I am, I usually say awesome. And if I'm not feeling the awesome, it's usually because I have been doing stuff, adding things to my plate that is not good for me, not something I'm really, really awesome at, feel good about doing. So I've learned to say no to some things. And self-care is, a lot of that has to do with boundaries, like saying, yeah, I'll take that project on because I feel good about it and I can fit it in around what I'm doing. And it's right in my wheelhouse of what I love to do. And I'm going to say no to this thing because that thing is, going to take up time and it's not going to give me what I want. I'll give you an example. I'm a real entrepreneur. So I was out the other day. Well, this is a few weeks ago. And I bought some really great stuff for an event planning business. I just stumbled on it. It was a great price. And I was like, this is good stuff, right? And then I took it home and I started looking at it. I started dreaming and scheming about another business. Like I need another business. And the stuff needed to be cleaned. And there was work that had to be done. And when I started to do the work, my beloved Francois says to me, I don't know why you're doing this because this is not the kind of work you like. I mean, I'm washing, there's like table coverings and things like this. And I'm washing them and I'm hanging them up to dry and I'm getting the stains out. He's like, you don't like doing your own laundry. What are you thinking? And you know what? He was absolutely right. A few days of doing that, I started to feel tired and a little bit like, maybe even depressed. I'm like, this is a terrible idea. So I went and sold it all and made a little profit on it and felt real good about that because that's who I am. I buy things and I sell things. That makes me happy. Okay. Doing other people's laundry, not so much. That's just not who I am. That's not a great thing for me to do. So I have invested in myself over the years by, realizing what makes me happy and looking after myself that way and making sure I get good vitamins and that kind of stuff. Lots of water, lots of great drinking water. I like my water clean. So I buy it and goes through a purifier. So I do stuff like that to look after myself. But I want to talk about number 2 now, because number 2 is something I've done for years in investing in myself that has really paid off big time. Okay. Huge. And it is reading. And, most able-bodied adults in North America can read, right? So this was something when I was way back when I was really broke and I didn't have a lot of money. I couldn't afford a lot of different courses and things that I wanted to take. And I'll come to that in a minute. But the thing that I could afford and that anybody can afford is books. Whether they be online or whether they be hard copy books. And again, do it the way that it works for you, okay? Because I meet people and they're like, oh, well, I only read stuff that I download and I use Kindle and I love that. And if that's you, yay, go hard, okay? But I'm not that person. I actually like to have a real book, okay? I love real books. I like to actually take a book and I like to write in it. I like to keep notes. I like to actually keep my books and stack them up on a shelf where I have access to them. I can look at them and I go, yeah, I really need to rethink that thing that I learned a couple of years ago. I'm going to pull that book down and I'm going to reread it. So I like to read. I read a lot. I've actually, over the years, there's been years that I've read, well, usually I read between 30 to 70 books every year. Hard copy books, soft copy books, books that are actual books. And I read stuff about self-development. I read things on marketing and sales because I'm really into that kind of stuff. I read about masterminds. I love to read that kind of stuff. Sometimes I think, well, I just need a good book to curl up with on the couch. And part of my self-care, I'm going to read a book that I've been longing to read, you know? So, and I get that, read over a weekend or something like that. But I really like to invest in myself by learning through books. And it's always been a great way for me to learn. So I've had book lists that I would follow, For instance, Og Mandino, read everything he ever wrote. A fabulous, fabulous author. I think he wrote about 13 different books. They're all little mini stories with kind of, follow these scrolls for life and read these scrolls. I love that stuff. It's so good. And it invested so much into me. It changed who I was. It helped me become a better me. And that has proven to be really, really good for my life and my career over the years. I think people who know me would say I'm good with people. Well, how did I get good with people? I read How to Win Friends and Influence People a lot. I didn't just read it once. I read it many times. And if you'd actually met me back when I was in my early 20s, I was so obnoxious. Okay. I look back and I think, oh my gosh, no wonder. I would back then I was in a network marketing company for a while, and people would sign up because I was fun and exciting and blah, blah, blah. I looked like the love child of Prince and Madonna. This is at the end of the 80s. My hair was really big. My earrings were really big. I was always, alive and vibrant, very, very, lots of talking and moving around with my hands. But here's the thing. I had the wrong people personality skills. I was kind of aggressive and over the top, and I swore a lot. And I also kind of dressed like a hooker. It wasn't very good. Okay. Not for drawing people to a business and making people feel comfortable anyway. So I read How to Win Friends and Influence People. I read it several times. And sometimes I meet somebody who's really, really sharp around the edges. And I think, maybe this person should maybe be locked in a room with How to Win Friends and Influence People and made to read it 30 times before we let them out again. And we kind of laugh about that. But really, I was that person. Okay. I had to be locked in the room with How to Win Friends and Influence People. I love Napoleon Hill. Some of those books that came out, and the magic of thinking big and all that kind of stuff. But Napoleon Hill is one of my favorite. I love Think and Grow Rich. And I've read that many times. And then a few years ago, when the book came out, Outwitting the Devil, oh my gosh, if you have not read that book, you need to read it. Whether you believe in the devil or not, it will change your life. He said he had an interview with the devil, and the devil told him, I don't need to make people into bad people. I just need to make them not have any focus. Watch one of my previous videos where I talk about focus and how that will change your life, okay? Without focus, people just do this thing called drifting, where they just drift from one thing to another, and they don't have to be bad people. They just never get anywhere, okay? And this is something I learned in a book, and I applied it from a book because I read it more than once. I actually read the book and took notes in the book. I wrote in my journal about the book, okay? And I made the book a part of my life. And I've read a lot of books like that. Over the years, as I've gotten more involved in business and the business community, I had to learn a lot about marketing, and I have absorbed a ton of information on marketing. I've read books, okay, lots of them by people like Dan Kennedy, okay, great books, okay, the No BS Guide to He's got great books. Things like Launch, okay, from Jeff Walker. Oh my gosh, if you're trying to run any kind of email campaigns, you need to write Launch. He's got a new book that just came out just now, actually, I'm waiting for my copy to arrive on the edge of my seat because he's rewritten the book Launch. And it's with more modern stuff in it. I love to read, even now. Reading makes a huge difference in our lives, okay? It's a way of investing in ourselves. It's a low-cost way, and it has a great return, Okay, fabulous. So another one I want to talk about, number 3, is taking courses. Okay, now I'm not just talking about the courses that would give you a letter behind your name or taking schooling. Not everybody can just go out immediately and sign up for something that's a $30,000 program, first of all. Secondly, I know some people might get mad at me for saying this, but I'm not convinced that those are the best courses. I don't know, just life experience has showed me that, for example, I've had people try to come and work for me who took business courses in some kind of institution from people who never owned a business. And they have a lot of theory and they don't have a lot of really what is needed to get things done and to be successful. That always kind of frustrated me. They would come and say, I got these digits behind my name and therefore I'm worth this. And then I put them to work and they don't seem to know what the heck to do because it was all theory. So I like to actually hire people who have great ideas and who will actually listen when I instruct them on how to do something and get stuff done. And they might have less digits behind their name, but they like to get things done. But I do like them to be learners. I like them to take courses, and courses are a great way of increasing your knowledge and applying it right away. So, for example, I took a course on how to build a great big Facebook group not very long ago. And I took the course. I put 2 of my staff members through the course. And now when we take a course, it's incredibly important to me, and I think it should be for you too, if you're really investing in yourself, that you not only take the course, that you apply it to your life. Can I say that again? Apply the course. Don't just run around and actually take one course after another. I see people doing this. I'll say, can you come to this event? No, I can't. I'm taking a course. Can you do this thing? No, I can't. I'm taking a course. Call them up. Oh, I can't talk to you right now. I'm in a course. They're always in a course. But I know that they can't even barely pay their fees at CIBN Connect, which is only $59 a month. So I'm like, what are you taking all these courses about, right? And they're not moving ahead. So I have to guess that they're not applying what they have learned in a course. And of course, we put on courses, and I've seen people too come and they don't sometimes get better right after they take the course. And I'm like, aren't you applying this course? Or I see them doing, I'll give them a course on how to make their LinkedIn profile, be better and how to do things better on LinkedIn. And then, 3 months later, I'll look at their LinkedIn profile and, well, frankly, it sucks. Okay, it looks terrible. Clearly, they did not apply anything they learned in the course. Don't be that person. Okay, if you're going to invest in taking a course, and the course is whether it's $200, $25, or the course is $7,000, whatever it is, do what you've learned. Don't let yourself keep taking course after course without applying it. So when we took the Facebook course, we immediately started applying it to our Facebook groups. And we made a plan to apply it to the Facebook groups. I've taken courses where I have taken and written a lot of notes in my course that I was taking, or maybe they provided a workbook, and I will write down stuff in the workbook. But here's what I do with those workbook, guys. I actually look at them again, number one. So I write in them all the notes, and then a few days later, after the course is over, because sometimes you take a course and you do get brain fry. I mean, you'd been in it all day, and maybe it was 3 days long or something. It seemed like a lot of information. You were being fed with a fire hose, coming at you. And you're thinking, well, how do I absorb this? Well, this is what you do. A few days later, after the course is over and you've kind of settled and you're relaxed now and you're kind of rested, okay? Take that course out again and get a highlighter pen and go through your course notes and highlight the things that you could apply immediately. Just highlight them. And some courses you'll have a lot of highlighting. Some courses you have only a little highlighting. You're like, well, this, and this, I could do that. So now after you've highlighted, now put it down again, go have lunch or coffee or something, come back and reread your highlighted points and pick 3 things to apply immediately. Just go 1, page 3 is number 2, and page number 7, oh, here's a 3rd thing. I'm going to apply that immediately. When you apply that to your life or your business immediately, this is where you start to implement real change. And this was where this investment that you made in that course really starts to pay off for you. So that's what I do with the course. That's kind of like the stage one. I apply it like that. Then I set it on a shelf where I can see it. And I come back to my courses every 6 months or so. I run through them and go, oh, I'm going to reread the highlighted notes on this one today while I have my coffee over, this morning. And it makes a huge difference because now you're rethinking the things in a different frame of mind than what it was when you first took the course. You've now applied some of that stuff. And then you realize, well, here's another point here. I had these 3 things that I did, but here's another one that was a really good idea. And I never got around to that one. I'm going to apply that one now. You see how you make these courses actually pay off for you? You actually start applying this stuff into your life and your business. It makes such a huge difference. And over the years, man, one brick at a time, I've been able to build an empire doing this. And I think that you could too. And, just by reading books and attending some courses, man, that's some good stuff that tends to pay off. And I know over the years, it's really paid off. I'll give you an example. A few years ago, I started doing this probably 10 years ago. I started with the courses, doing the highlighted thing, writing down the 3 things to do. So, when search engine optimization was a brand new thing, that was well over 10, might have been 15 or more years ago, dating myself here. I took a course. It cost me $1,800 back then. And for me at that point in my life, in 2000 and whatever that was, 10 or 11, that was like all the money I had and somebody else's I borrowed. Okay, that was everything. It's like that was like, selling the farm. Okay. I was like all in for the $1,800 course. That was everything to me right then. So I took that course and that's what I did. I highlighted things and it was like being fed through a fire hose. I had never learned about anything that technical before. So my brain felt like mush when I was done. 3 days of learning all about search engine optimization. And then the next week I got out my highlighter pen and I did this activity and I wrote down 3 things to do. And I started to apply it to my own marketing company back then. Do you know that my company ranked in the top 5 companies on Google for years based off of what I learned in that course? And then I used that information and I still use it today. You'd think it would be outdated, but it actually isn't, because some of the stuff was like, I know one of those points was talking about fresh content and how much Google loves fresh content. So I set up a system to create fresh content back then, and we still use that to this day. So here we are, what is it, 2021 now. And it still works, not only for myself, but it works actually for the hundreds and actually thousands of business owners that we impact today. We give them that same advice. It still works for them. It still works for us. I learned it in a course that I took probably in 2011, something like that, when search engine optimization was a brand new thing and people didn't even know what that meant. So you see what I'm saying? Like, investing in yourself pays dividends. You know how much money I have made from that course? Gosh, I've not done the numbers on it, but hundreds of thousands of dollars, because I had hundreds of thousands of dollars in marketing clients. And today, now with CIBN Connect, I have, a huge business there. And a lot of it runs off of internet marketing and what we do online. And the foundations of what I learned then became what we do now. So that course, probably been worth millions. Isn't that cool? So you see how, I scraped it all together to take a course way back then and invested in myself. And I bet on a winning horse, which is you. Okay. In my case, it was me. And I applied that. And as I applied that, it changed everything. Right. And I became more and more knowledgeable as I took these courses. I took courses on marketing. I've taken courses today on Facebook and on Twitter and on LinkedIn and Instagram. And today I've taken courses on self-development. And now I train courses in self-development and social media and all kinds of different things, masterminds, how to network better. Where did I learn this stuff? I learned it from books. I learned it from the courses I took. And I also learned it from the fourth way that I invested in myself. And that was I found a mentor, and I started to actually spend time with people that were further ahead in life than I was. That is incredibly important. Back in 2010, when I was doing so poorly, I realized someone had given me like a DVD that had said that if you took the average income of your 5 closest friends and you averaged that would be your income. And so I did the math and discovered that, wow, I had some broke friends. And wow, I was really broke. So I had to change that. I had to find ways to find new friends. And I knew I needed a mentor. And, I really would have loved to have gone to somebody from Shark Tank and said, hey, be my mentor. But guess what? They weren't interested in, somebody like me, who at that point wasn't even a hundredaire, never mind a thousandaire or a millionaire. They wanted to give their time to somebody who was a millionaire. Well, that wasn't me. So what was I going to do to find a mentor? I had to find somebody who was just further ahead than I was. Okay, someone who owned their own house or had a rental property, someone who had more than one vehicle that was paid for, somebody maybe who spent their winters away in some place that wasn't frozen, where the frozen chosen of Canada live. Okay. Maybe it's somebody like that, right? And I looked around the people that I knew in my city, and I had been introduced to a couple of people that fit that. And I know sometimes people say, well, I want a mentor who does exactly what I do. I don't know why you would. You'll never get any out of the box ideas that way, because they only know what they know. So I surrounded myself with people who were professionals in all kinds of things, but they weren't professionals in what I did. And in fact, as I got into running CIBN Connect, I couldn't have a mentor that does what I do, because there's like 3 people who know how to do that in the whole world that are really good at that. And, my biggest competitor, certainly he wouldn't be interested. If he's a global competitor, wouldn't be interested in mentoring me. But so I had to find people who were interested in me, who wanted to invest in me, because they saw that I was really trying and they were willing to bet on a winning horse. So I found people like that. I think one of my first mentors was somebody, her name is Donna Dahl. She lives in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And she just was more successful than I was. She was a successful author. And she, did some of those things. They traveled every winter. They just, they were going to China and different places. And, they're at a place in their life where they were enjoying things. They were further ahead than where I was. And when I asked her to be my mentor, she was tickled. She was like, oh yeah, I would love to do that. That'd be great. And she just saw I was a young person that needed some help, and she was willing to help me. And then, you know what? Donna introduced me to some other people who became mentors. She opened doors for me, and that's what mentors do. She opened doors for me in my city. She opened doors for me with individuals, and she's been my cheerleader. And now she's my friend. And over the years, it's been a great relationship. And in that mentoring relationship, too, this is the thing. Sometimes you ask someone to mentor you, but then you're not willing to listen to them. Okay. A mentor is someone you actually respect and you'll listen to them. Even if they tell you to do something you don't think you should do. And I know Donna has told me things over the years. I didn't like everything she said, right? But I always listen. And I think, yeah, okay, maybe I should try that. I mean, clearly she knows more than I do. So maybe I should just do that. And guess what? It paid off. Huge dividends. Donna Dahl once saved me millions of dollars in a lawsuit because she told me what I should do. And it worked. It was awesome. And she was right. So you see how having somebody who goes before you can just really help you a lot in life. So mentorship is another way of investing in yourself. And that with mentorship, you're investing in that time that you spend with that person. But you might also be investing money. I mean, if you hired a coach and the coach was mentoring you, you might be investing money. Also, even if you're hiring some, or if you're getting someone to mentor you and they're not asking for payment, if they're further ahead in life or where you are, it may cost you money to just go meet that person. I've had a mentor who said, I can only meet you when I'm at the golf club. And the only way that you can be mentored by me is you have to buy a membership at the golf club. And the golf club membership was $20,000 a year. So, and that's not the most elite golf club in the world either. I mean, so if the mentor was belonging to one that was $100,000 a year, then if you want that person to mentor you, that could cost some money. So you have to think about that. But start where you're at. I mean, if you're a thousandaire, then just go find somebody who makes more than you to be your mentor. Okay. And if you're a millionaire, then go find somebody. If you got one location and of your business and it's doing well, go find somebody that's got 6 locations and get them to mentor you, right? That's what you do. Find a mentor and invest the time into that, because it's an investment into yourself, and you are the winning horse that you want to invest in. You're the one that's going to, pull you out of the mud later. Okay. When times get tough, you're the one that's going to build the larger wealth package for you and your family, build the empire. You're the one who's going to do all of that. And I have the 5th one that I want to talk about: personal development, something that's really helped me a lot over the years. It's been amazing. That is masterminds. I started to attend and put on masterminds way back, probably 12, 13 years ago now. And I read all about it in one of Napoleon Hill's books. And I thought, okay, that sounds interesting. We should try that. And we got the law of success and started to figure out, how do you do a mastermind? And we made it part of our company that, this was one of the things in our company that we did, was a lot of mastermind training. And we got in front of other people all the time. And we would just do this together, where we would have these brainstorming sessions, and we'd pick a challenge that we were trying to work through, or an idea that we were trying to flesh out, or something we needed to create the stages for, and we would work together, brainstorming about this. And then we added things to it. So CIBN Connect has a mastermind program now where people can actually belong to it, and they can contribute what kind of things they want to work on, and we work on it together. So those are some things that we do in our company now. But masterminds as a concept, I mean, this is something every business owner should do. And the reason I say that is because the most successful business owners of all time have done this. And it's something that's not that difficult. Anyone can participate. The more organized masterminds, I think they're better quality, and they're worth paying for to participate in them. But if you're out somewhere where you just can't, or you time-wise, you just can't participate, at least get 2 or 3 friends together regularly and mastermind. Friends, colleagues, associates, people who are also moving and shaking and doing something. Okay. You can't just start a mastermind group with 3 people that, they're not, they all have jobs, and none of you are actually building a business. Okay. You're not going to get the right ideas percolating. You got to be people who are moving ahead. Okay. So our CIBN mastermind is really awesome that way, because they're all business owners. Some of them have been in business for years. They've tried many things. They have lots of wisdom and advice to share. And then you've got the new people. Maybe they're new in business, but they have new ideas, which, I always say, new horses in the stalls next to the old ones makes everybody prance more. Okay. Yeah, farming reference for those of you who don't know. I came from a farm originally. Were you born in a barn? Not quite, but I am from a small town farming community. So lots of farming references. All right, so let's recap here. The ways to develop yourself personally, ways that you can invest in yourself. Number 1, do look after yourself. Pay attention to your body and think about what you're putting into it, and the food you're eating, and the exercise you're getting, and that kind of stuff. Do look after yourself, because you are your own winning horse, and you would look after your $1 million racehorse, wouldn't you? You would not feed that racehorse candy. Okay. You would feed it good quality food and make sure it got its vitamins. Right. Number 2, you would want to read. Okay. You want to keep putting good stuff. You know, you hear that statement, garbage in, garbage out. Put good stuff into your brain. You want to increase what you are learning through reading in an ongoing way. And some people like audiobooks. I didn't mention that. And audiobooks are great. I mean, if you are an auditory learner and you like to learn that way versus, you know, reading it off the written page, do what works for you. But I do know statistically that you retain more from actually reading than you do from auditory. So this is something to think about. And number 3, take courses. Take the courses and do the stuff in the course. Don't just keep taking courses. Actually do what you've learned in the course, and then you become an expert in that. And number 4, mentorship, mentorship, mentorship. Find good mentors who are further ahead than you, people who will be your cheerleaders, people who will tell you the truth when you don't want to hear it, and people that you'll listen to so that you'll apply it. And really, mentors, a big thing about them is they save you from the train wrecks in life and in business, okay? They go, you know, you might want to rethink that. I see a mistake coming there. That's a great mentor, okay? And even at the time, you're like, no, this is a great idea. I want to rush ahead. Listen to your mentor, okay? You'll save so much time and money and energy by having good mentors. And of course, masterminds is number 5. Personal development 101 from Kerry George. Okay, this is what you do. Okay, get into a great mastermind group. If you don't have one, I recommend CIBN Connect. Find us at thecibn.com. You are your greatest asset, and don't forget that you are your winning horse. Okay, so invest in yourself because it's the very best investment that you could make. And I'm Kerry George, Happy Capitalism. Make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell so you see future videos that come up on our YouTube channel. If you're watching this on Facebook, like, comment, share, and tell other people how they can invest in themselves. This is a great way for you to get started in your investment portfolio before you go buying all the investments in the world and adding real estate this and this piece of fancy metal over there and making sure that you got gold and all that stuff. You are your gold. Look after yourself and stay happy out there. Subscribe, ring the bell, and we will see you soon. Happy capitalism.